came here thinking or hoping or perhaps believing that I may start naming names. Well, that day will come, but it won't be today. The day will come when we will name names other than Sean Combs, and there's a lot of names. It's a long list already. And of course, I already know who some of these individuals are, but because of the nature of this case, we're going to make damn sure that we're right before we do that. But the names that we're going to name, assuming that our investigators confirm and corroborate what we've been told, are names that will shock you. These are individual cases. There are indeed other perpetrators involved. They will be revealed when that particular individual case is ready to be filed. They already know who they are. And I'm talking here about not just the cowardly but complicit bystanders. That is, those people that we know watched this behavior occur and did nothing. And I'm talking about the people that participated, encouraged it, egged it on. They know who they are. I call them the facilitators of foul play, willing participants in vile conduct. As we identify them, each will be part of this case as defendants. These defendants will not only include individuals, but would also include corporate entities who ultimately profited off of this culture and behavior. I'm looking at banks, pharmaceutical companies, hotels. We know that many of these individuals were paid cash. We know that many of these individuals involved, whether they were the ones being assaulted and abused, or they're witnessing other people being assaulted and abused and then paid and threatened and told to leave. Typically paid 10 grand in cash and told to leave. And then threatened as they were leaving. So in addition to Sean Combs, you should know the defendants in these cases we're going to file will include anyone, of course, who engaged in the assault or exploitation, anyone who participated in such in any way, anyone who encouraged or facilitated this conduct, anyone who was in the room and watched it happen but made no effort to stop it, any venue or venue owner who was aware of what was going on but failed to stop it, any individual or entity who knew about the conduct and benefited from it but did nothing to report it or stop it, and any individual or entity who covered it up or helped cover it up. These people who know who they are should just come forward now. I would imagine, as we speak here, there are a myriad of people who are very nervous. You can't hide skeletons in the closet forever. I would expect there are many people out there right now who are desperately searching their memories as they delete their texts and data. Now, although these are, in fact, individual cases, there is a common theme, an MO, if you will. Typically, the victim is lured into a situation where he or she is given a drink. Typically, that drink, reported by these victims, is apparently laced with something. Once that drink takes effect, the perpetrators perform all kinds of sexual acts on the victims, many times passing him or her around as other people watch and enjoy the show, and then leave the victim ashamed, confused, injured, and wondering what happened. When the victim reaches out, he or she is told not to say anything. Sometimes there are threats of physical violence or financial repercussions or bodily harm. The claims we intend to bring will include the following: violent sexual assault or rape, sexual abuse, facilitated sex with a controlled substance, false imprisonment, compelling prostitution, sexual misconduct, dissemination of video recordings, false imprisonment, sexual abuse of minors. Given the large volume of cases, and given our other docket obligations, and given the fact that we want to be sure when we file these cases that they are fully vetted, I expect we'll start filing these cases against Sean Combs and other perpetrators within the next 30 days.
And of course, the sentiment after this is, why don't you guys go ahead and combine the P. Diddy list with the Epstein list and sort it all out for once, as Ian J. put it. And he also said, I'm guessing the world would be a much better place thereafter. Oh man, this is not only revealing, it's something that's it's a loss for the culture of hip hop, man. It's not good for it. And but what's most important outside of that, it's having that realization moment that like we're in an era where we are watching Hollywood and all of these entertainment. We're seeing what's behind the curtain. We get to see what's actually behind the curtain, and man, it's just sad what he did to Justin. Yeah, I ain't even gonna start naming names, but
there's a claim that Kim Porter kept copies of Diddy's alleged sex tapes as leverage. What evidence do you have to support this narrative?
The tapes.
So you actually have tapes?
I'm not going to do fully comment. Let's just say there's tapes that exist. Yeah.
Well, let's ponder around that.
There's
the investigators in the case that is now filed.
Yes.
Right. Say that they were in possession of tapes. They can actually confirm that there are tapes,
sure,
as well as baby oil, as well as all of the
sure,
other things that
yes,
they found.
Yeah.
And so with that, we do know from that perspective that the DA involved in the case that Diddy is now facing.
The federal government.
Yes. Yeah. The DA and the federal government have tapes.
Attorney General.
And so my question is, there's a claim that Porter kept copies of, and this is in your book.
Yes.
That she kept copies of Diddy's alleged tapes as leverage,
yes,
right? And in making that, it would be assumed that you would, or the possession of those tapes, you've seen them, you have them, you know about them. And like I said, what evidence do you have to support the narrative?
Yes, there are tapes that exist.
Okay. The book alleges that Diddy kept a vault of tapes documenting his alleged sexual encounters. Was there any hard evidence that such a vault existed?
The sources say there was a vault that existed, yes. And some of the tapes were flown out of the country on a private jet. That's from the sources directly, so I have to believe them. If she's angry, if she was abused, if she's fighting back, because we know through, and I'm going to reveal some of these other things that are on the drive that discuss why she was doing it and when. Okay.
So you didn't, these are other things that you didn't include in, and why did you keep that out?
Correct. Because I can't reveal everything at once. It's too shocking. If I was to release those tapes, the world would shut down. Okay. If I showed one of these tapes, I'm telling you right now, the whole music industry and Hollywood, it would just grind down like this. They're all going to start pointing at each other like this, and it's going to be bad. We've already set it up. We have multiple attorneys. We know how to do it. It's not my first rodeo. I solved the greatest murder case in history, 3 of them. I know how to do it. We're going to do it, but just going to come in pieces. And there's also ways we can, let's say, not censor it, but we can kind of soften it, right? Like the whole tape doesn't have to come out. All the tape. I don't have all the tapes. There's other people that have the tapes. I can't control them. We already know they're shopping in Hollywood. We have proof of other people telling us. We actually didn't have that one they showed. So there's multiple out there. Remember, this has been going on for 30 years. So I'm not the only one who has them. I think I have specific ones that no one has. But so yeah, it's gonna be extremely shocking. We've got to be really just kind of one step at a time.
But you can confirm nor deny that what you claim to have, that no one else has, correct?
I would say this. Let's say there's 10 tapes, right?
So this is a hypothetical.
Yeah. Hypothetically, there's 10 tapes. There's a couple of those that no one has, but the flash drive has. I can pretty much guarantee.
And how can you?
Because if anybody has those, they're going to go to jail. If they release what I believe they think they have or they want to release, they will most likely go to jail. That's why we're working with the federal government. We're working with the federal government.
Oh, you're currently working with the federal government?
Well, not like what you're saying.
No. I want to be clear. I don't want to make
We're going to give them to the federal government.
Oh, so you're going to give the
Oh,
tapes
yes.
to the federal
Oh,
government?
Yes.
Okay.
So what you just watched, the author of Kim Porter's book has made a bombshell claim that Diddy's tapes, stating that they could take down Hollywood and the entire entertainment industry. He disclosed that some of the tapes were secretly flown out of the country on a private jet, while numerous others still exist, documenting 30 years worth of shocking recordings. Man, just when you thought, like, you know, it couldn't get any lower, man, it just continues to do so. And we know Jaguar Wright is somebody who's been speaking out against Diddy for years, just like Gene Deal, but nobody listened. Piers Morgan decided to interview her, and she also name dropped Jay-Z.
You want to know why there's no vindication for me? Because for 4 years, I've been screaming, not just Diddy, but Diddy and Jay-Z are monsters. And the victim-making machine kept going on.
Jay-Z has been notable by his silence since these charges were brought against Diddy. Why do you think that is?
Because that's what he does. He starts little fires everywhere, forces everyone involved to go and carry water while he sneaks away without a response. That changes now, Sean. You must respond. You have no choice. Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein, Robert Kelly, Sean Combs have one person in common, professionally and privately. Sean Carter. This has been a fist of tyranny that has been punching through our culture and our society for decades. It must stop.
There's been obviously a lot of
Cruelty-free artistry.
Right. There's been a lot of rumor mill about what has happened in the rap world. A lot of allegations that the misogyny in the lyrics clearly was based on a general misogyny towards women away from the music. And that clearly seems to have been borne out by these charges against Diddy, which if he's found guilty of all this, he's never coming out of prison. How dangerous do you think?
Thank God.
How dangerous do you think he is as a person?
I think he's one of the most dangerous people I've ever met. A lot of people have been questioning, well, she doesn't really know him. She has no knowledge of him. She doesn't have a picture with him. I'm smarter than Claudia Jordan. I would never take a picture with the devil. Everyone knew he was the devil. He's been the devil for 30 years. He's been covered and protected by not only Clive Davis, but Lucian Grange. He was selected to be the demon that he is, to keep the culture in line so the industry could continue to rape it for all of its precious jewels. We have too many lost. The list of lost is ridiculous, and everyone knows Diddy was selected for this job. He's the Judas.
Wow.